why we are here on a Monday. Usually we would not be streaming on a Monday, but it is a special occasion. As I just said, St. Patrick's Day. And today we're going to be talking about a few different things, right? A few different things. For one thing, I'm not saying it's a tradition or anything like that. I'm not saying it's a tradition, but I think I know St. Patrick's Day last year, and then maybe the year before. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. I made a thing called boxty. All right, it's an Irish food. Specifically, I guess like Northern Ireland is where it really comes from, where they eat it a lot. Which I did not know until recently. I decided I wanted to get into my Irish heritage a long time ago, and one day I got curious and I was like, I wonder what kind of foods are native to Ireland. And boxty was one of them. And I was like, oh, well, it seems cool. It seems cool. I might as well go ahead and give that a shot. But what is going on, What is going on, Zachary Vered, Studio Slam, Mr. Prosy? All right. What up, my ginger? Nothing. Just chilling. Just chilling. St. Patty's Day is secretly Gingers Unite Day. Gingers Unite. Yes, sir, Mr. Prosy. Yes, sir. Um, going to be talking a little bit about the Irish and gingers, I guess you will, and stuff like that. But um, St. Patrick's Day, first and foremost, is a Catholic holiday, and it is something that was secularized. It was secularized. Um, and I think part of the reason it was secularized is because it is easy to when you are not a Catholic, you might be a Protestant and you may not have a lot of reverence for any of the Catholic saints and things like that. I would assume that has something to do with it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm just spitballing here as to how it was so easy to be secularized. But then specifically, it's not like St. Patrick's Day. Jesus, it's not like St. Patrick was Jesus Christ or anything, right? So it's probably a little bit easier to secularize that than it is Christmas, even though Christmas is also being secularized, as well as Easter, which is coming up in a little bit over a month, to my understanding. Easter is 420 this year. Interesting. But um, yeah, so St. Patrick's Day, all right, Catholic holiday. It is to memorialize the Saint Patrick, obviously, right? It's funny because thinking about it growing up, all you ever heard was, oh, St. Patrick rid the Emerald Isle of snakes. And you don't really know what that is. You just kind of like believe in the myth, not realizing what it actually means. And St. Patrick, he's the one who brought Catholicism to Ireland because before then it was a pagan place. At that time, if I remember correctly, we're not supposed to be talking too deep into St. Patrick this year, although maybe we should have done that. Maybe we should have done that, but there's always next year. It's always next year. But today we're going to be talking about Thomas Francis Maher as well as Irish stick fighting. We're going to be deep diving into those two things. But St. Patrick specifically, right? He was born in England, believe it or not. He was not actually native Irish. He was kidnapped and sold into slavery in Ireland by the Vikings because at this point the Vikings were raiding the British coast as well as setting up trade ports and things like that in Ireland. That's where like Limerick, Dublin, right? There's a couple more that I'm sure if I racked my brain for, I'd be able to remember. But Limerick and Dublin are two examples of Irish trade ports that were actually set up by the Vikings, right? Uh, Even to this day, there's a lot of Irish last names that are really kind of Viking in nature, like MacGregor, for instance, right? Mac means son of. Um, if I remember correctly, it's son of. But regardless, the Irish surname MacGregor comes from the Viking incursions into Ireland. You know, um, it's not just the British that like occupied Ireland. There's been plenty of situations where there's been incursions from other nations or other peoples and things like that. And the Vikings are probably the other big one that really had like a gigantic effect on the uh, Ireland as we know it today, right? Um, but yeah, so you have a situation where Patrick he ended up introducing Catholicism to Ireland. He also made the Shamrock the sort of symbol of Ireland. He did a few more things than that. I'm just trying to like I didn't expect to be talking about Patrick, so because of that, I'm trying to like organize, fucking be like, oh, should I talk about this? I can't forget that. I can't forget this. Can't forget that. Bottom line, fucking, it's a Catholic holiday. It's a Catholic holiday. I'm not gonna sit here and bumble through the history that I am trying to like remember after studying up again on like the history of Thomas Maher and Irish stick fighting and shit like that, you know. Bottom line, it's supposed to be a Catholic holiday, and it has been secularized, and it was secularized because it's fun to drink. Is just a fact of the matter. It's fun to drink. It's fun to party and things like that. And it is what it is. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody to not have fun on St. Patrick's Day or anything like that, or any other day. You know, Cinco de Mayo, Cinco de Drinko, as some people call it. Um, you know, just anything, right? I'm not gonna be the guy to ruin on anyone's parade, or to rain on anyone's parade. I just do think it's important to remember the roots of the holiday, and if you're gonna take it to a further extent, take it to a place where it's a celebration of Irish heritage in and of itself, not just the Americanized wear green and drink Guinness on St. Patrick's Day, kiss me I'm Irish type shit, you know. I think it's really important to get into your heritage, regardless of what that is. You know, I just happen to be Irish. If I was fucking Puerto Rican, I'd probably be real hype about Puerto Rican Day, right? And it does matter, you know, what race, religion, or creed you are. You should know about it, because when you know about it, when you're secure in yourself, it gives you a new lease on life. And in addition to that, it also you don't feel as much like you have to attack other people. Not that I've ever felt like I had to attack other people necessarily, but it's like, you know, when you focus on yourself, you don't have to focus on other people. So what other people are doing doesn't bother you as much, and what's happening to you doesn't bother you. You know, um, trying to think. I'm a little bit tired today. I had a week off from work last week, and now I'm back to work, and you know, I'm just like, well, you know, it was a long day today, a long day. That's also part of the reason why I bumbled through the St. Patrick explanation, is because like not only was I unprepared to talk about that topic, but then in addition to that, I'm still like, ugh. But regardless, right? Regardless, I do think one thing is funny though, right? St. Patrick's Day was secularized, and because of that, it became more of a day about drinking and partying and stuff like that. And I don't love the hell out of that. I'm not going to tell people not to, but I personally don't love the hell out of it. And I've never been to one of the St. Patrick's Day parades in Boston. It's just not my scene, not my scene. You know, whether I was into my heritage at that time or not, I'm just not trying to be around a bunch of drunk strangers and things like that. That's not what I want to do. I don't even go to bars and clubs. I'm not one of those guys. But one of the things that I do find to be interesting is that Mayor Wu, I forget what her first name is, but her last name is Wu. I almost called her Brianna Wu. Boy, a blast from the fucking past on that one, huh? But yeah, Mayor Wu, the mayor of Boston, she put in place orders to basically stop people from making money on St. Patrick's Day, as well as um, stop people from having fun. You know, she in Southie, I don't know if it was Southie specifically, uh, which South Boston was known as sort of the Irish section, if you will. There aren't that many Irish people in Southie anymore. I'm sure they're around, right? But it's mostly like foreigners at this point, right? But there was a an ordinance put in place where it's like places couldn't serve alcohol past 7 p.m. and you couldn't enter a bar or a restaurant after like 4:30 p.m. and shit like that. And it was just a little bit funny to see that. And like I wasn't surprised by it. I wasn't surprised by it. I ended up mentioning something on Twitter. I said they hate you. They've never hid that fact. Stop acting surprised by it. They would do something like that on a day like St. Patrick's Day, where even though the original meaning of the holiday has been lost, it still is a holiday to celebrate a white culture, right? It's a holiday to celebrate white people who just happen to hail from or are descended from a specific culture, right? And can't have that. No, 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 can't have that. Got to rain on the parade. Meanwhile, if it was a pride parade where dudes are hanging out in BDSM gear around children in like broad daylight and things like that, they're not even just hanging out in BDSM gear. They're like doing BDSM shit to each other. You're seeing them like smacking asses and other shit like that. If it was that, then oh, forget about it. There would never, ever, under any circumstances, be anything like that. You know, there no dress codes, no hey, keep it away from the kids. Hey, keep the kids away from this, right? None of that. None of that. Not even a little bit. No, 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 no. But of course, they're gonna have it for St. Patrick's Day. They wouldn't have it for like one of the Puerto Rican parades, because there is a Puerto Rican Day in Boston. There is a Puerto Rican Day in Boston. There's also an Italian festival. Actually, the day after Bitch Tank ended, I went there with Greg and a couple other cool cats. One of them is actually JC. You may recognize him as one of my mods. He hasn't been here for a little while because he's been busy. But next time JC pops in, I got to meet him in real life last summer. They have those and they're a lot of fun. Like I'm actually really happy I went to one. But they're not that big. They're not that prolific as to where like Brianna Wu probably feels a need to like try and rain on the parade or anything like that. But when it comes to something like St. Patrick's Day in Boston, that's big enough as to where she's like, no, 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 we can't have white people having fun. White people having fun? No, 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 no. Not allowed. Not even allowed a little bit. No, sir. You can do whatever the hell you want if you're a certain race or religion or creed. You can do whatever the hell you want as long as it's a day to celebrate gays or like fucking brown or black people or shit like that. You can do whatever the fuck you feel like, and it's all good. But when it comes to white people getting together and having a good time, no, 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 nope. And it's interesting. It's interesting. Lots of Black Americans have Irish heritage as well, from what I've heard. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe not. But I don't see how they would. It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's this myth that the Irish and the Black communities intermingled, and that's kind of one of the ways that they try and guilt trip you into this belief that oh well, if you're Irish, you shouldn't believe in borders. If you're of Irish extraction, you shouldn't believe in borders because you were slaves once too. Oh, but also we don't care that you were slaves once too. You're white, so you should feel guilty. But also black people, a lot of them have Irish last names because they have Irish heritage. It doesn't matter that a lot of them didn't have last names, and when they were freed, they just picked last names. That's why there's so many people with the last name Freeman. Morgan Freeman, right? That was literally, I am a free man. I am Morgan, a free man. That's where that comes from, right? So it wouldn't surprise me one bit to find out that like a lot of freed slaves were like, oh hey, there's this cool guy that I met in the camp. In the camp, he fought for the Union. He freed us. His last name was Murphy. I think I'll call myself fucking Jamal Murphy now because I'm a free man, and I guess I should have a last name. So Jamal Murphy. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if that's really like the story behind that. Kind of like whenever you're talking genetics, it's kind of a weird thing, because you never know. It's like how like 1 in 3 black people are related to Thomas Jefferson. Like no, that's made up. That's not real. That's not a real thing. Again, that's just a way that like race hustlers will try and bend the truth or completely make up a lie whole cloth to support some weird thing where it's like, actually, I'm more American than white people because my great 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 grandfather was Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers. And it's like that. No, that's false. That's false. That is not true. But anyway, I gotta peel these taters here. I gotta peel these hand grenades. Fucking, I meant to try and do that. All right, cool. I meant to try and do that a little bit earlier, but it just didn't work out. I got home and I had to immediately start like trying to get all this shit together, and I kept forgetting that there was shit that I had forgot. I forgot that I forgot, you know. But they're small. I'm not making a shit ton of boxty. I just want to see if I can follow a recipe because I'm following a recipe this time. I forget if I mentioned. I'm following a recipe this time. That's part of the reason why I'm doing the box tea again. You know, like having a repeat. Although if it's a tradition, it's a tradition. But having like repeats and stuff like that is not exactly that's not exactly like what I'm trying to go for. You know, because like the first St. Patrick's Day stream I ever did, I'm pretty sure I talked about my last name a little bit, right? I talked about how it comes from a royal family in Ireland, the Owenacht, um, and it's a little bit more complicated than that because when it comes to my last name, Sullivan, right? That's Shulavan in the Irish pronunciation in Irish. Um, that means either one eye or Hawkeye. They can't figure out which one. Like there's a couple of different little founding myths. Basically, we all come from one guy. Is supposed to be the founding myth. His name was Shulavan. Um, and because of that, the clan that he founded was the O'Shulavan clan or the O'Sullivan clan. Um, but he came from a line of rulers. He never actually sat on a throne himself, but the idea is that he was of noble blood, specifically kingly blood. Um, so you heard that right. We was Kangs, boys. We was Kangs. Um, I made a crazy corny beef Colcannon thing and hot cross buns with me stepmom. That's pretty cool, but hot cross buns are good. They're like I did not expect to be hot cross. I did not expect to be hot cross buns. What the fuck? That sounds a little dirty. Sounds a little dirty there. I did not expect hot cross buns to be as good as they are, but they make them around Easter time a lot of the time. You can get them in stores, and like I'm actually kind of a big fan of them. I'm gonna have to pick some up at some point. Uh, Luckily, these are small potatoes. Haha. It ain't small potatoes. These are small potatoes though, so because of that, I'm already like almost done with the second potato. I'm gonna boil up 4 taters. Um, and we're gonna have to make mashed taters with them. Bada bing, bada boom. Um, but yeah, like understanding your heritage, and if you can, understanding your specific lineage, your family history is a very important thing. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but my wife is actually adopted. She basically her mom got pregnant at a very young age. I'm talking like 14, 15 years old, and her mom's parents were like, "No, you can't keep that baby. What the fuck? You're a teenager." And she gave up my wife to who would end up becoming her adopted mom, right? So when I was referring to my wife's mom, I was referring to her biological mom. Um, uh, but she doesn't know, like, she knows her mom. She talks to her mom like a couple of times a year. They're cool. It's obviously a little awkward because it's not like they had a relationship, but they at least know each other and they're cool with each other. Oh, excuse me. Um, and like my wife doesn't know what she is. Like she knows she's probably Portuguese to a certain degree. And she's definitely got some Amazonian in her. She's got she's got that fucking shama in her. And I don't mean the Alex Pereira. Well, I do mean the Alex Pereira shama actually. In you see we're talking about fucking Brazil now. Damn it. God damn it. Um no, but like there's the Alex Pereira like Shama Chama that basically means like let's go, right? That's what Shama means. But then there's also Shama, which is Xama, which is kind of like it can sometimes be derogatory to my understanding, but that's kind of the way that that's what they call the Amazonians and shit like that is the shamas, Yo, what's going on, JC? I was just talking about you a second ago. I was talking about the that night at the Italian festival. If we can, we should do that again this year. If we're able to, if everything lines up, we should definitely do that. I might bring a buddy or two of mine as well if I can get them to come to town. That was a boatload of fun. That was a boatload of fun, sir. Um, but yeah, anyway, I want to know what my wife is because I think that's important. Um, and I think it's important for her to know as well. But you should definitely know what you are. It gives you a new lease on life. All of a sudden, you're not just acting for yourself. You're acting because, um, there's people that came before you, and those people, whether you are um, narcissistic about it or not, they did exist for you to exist. So you should feel some sort of gratitude, you know. If you're the kind of person who figures out your mom or your dad or your ancestors existed, right? You figure out about them, you figure out names, you see pictures and things like that. I have pictures of my great grandfather who is the son of somebody I'm going to talk about in a second, and he looks like my fucking dad. He looks like my dad in a major way. It's insane. If I showed you a picture of my great grandfather, you would be able to pick my dad out of a lineup based off of that. It's funny to see. But the bottom line of what I was saying is um you should be able to appreciate whether you're gonna be a narcissist about life or not, because those people existed for you to be here. Yeah, I'm gonna cut them up into quarters. Um, uh, Hold on one sec. But yeah, it's crazy to see the people who came before you like that, though, especially if you can get pictures of them. You know, it's good to get a name, and it's good to try and find things that give you an idea of the life they lived. I had no clue that my ancestor was mentioned by name in a history book. You know, Michael Sullivan, Michael Sullivan. He was mentioned in a history book for mouthing off to a superior officer in the Civil War, which is exactly the type of shit I would make the history books for. If you know me, you know I would make the history books for that exact type of shit. You know, um, but yeah, it'll do something to you if you're not either abused, which is sad. I'm not saying that as a pejorative, right? Or if you're a fucking Reddit pussy. If you're not one or both of those things, it will do something to you where you're oh fuck, these people, they may not have known it was gonna be me, but they existed so that I could exist. Fuck. Damn, that's heavy, Fucking when that ancestor of mine, who was the dad of my great grandfather, so I'm talking about my great great grandfather now. When my great great grandfather got shot at Fredericksburg, I don't think he had any concept of the idea that later on it was going to be me visiting Fredericksburg to walk in his footsteps. Maybe at one point in his life he was like, man, I wonder if any of my my descendants are gonna know what I did there, and I wonder if they're gonna visit and they're gonna see it, right? But it's not like he had any idea that it was gonna be me, but he did it for me. He did it so that um he did it so that the union would be preserved, and you can feel however you want to feel about that one. You can feel however you want to feel about that one, but you get the idea, right? It's important. It's important. I'm partially just trying to make sure I don't have dead air when I'm fucking sitting here. What's going on, Lorian Video? What's going on? What's going on, Ryan Keefe? Sullivans were kings in Munster, weren't they? Yeah, you see, it's oh fuck, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So, um, I hate myself a little bit because I did exactly the type of shit my dad would do. I mispronounced the word that I was supposed to say. There was a royal family in Ireland, right? They were known as the Oanacht or the Oanachta, right? Um, that's spelled like EOH, like ANACHTA or something like that. Um, and it's pronounced Oanachta. Um, they were a royal line that started out in Tipperary, but they ended up moving down to Munster. I don't know what caused that. I don't know why they were in Tipperary and then they moved down to Munster, but you know, it just is what it is. Or is Tipperary in Monster? Geez, in Munster. I forget if let me double check. Tipperary in Ireland. Um Oh no. That's in Munster apparently. You see, when I was reading up on the history, they said like, oh, they started out in Tipperary and then they moved south, and like I think I got confused about that. But yeah, they were a royal line in Munster. They weren't known for like fighting wars. Not that you know you wouldn't do that if need be, but they were known more for being very diplomatic and being very savvy in terms of like working out deals and um, you know just being intelligent, right? And I think that's funny because my clan's shlugarum, or you know basically slogan, is Anlav Foistanach Abu, which means the steady hand to victory. Which to me that denotes not necessarily like a wild fervor or anything like that, but a calm, collected sort of intelligence. You know, it's an intelligence. It's a craftiness. You know, not rushing headfirst into things, beating things with sticks, but sitting back and observing and trying to find the best way to do it. You know, so I think that's kind of funny. But basically, according to what I have read, the Sullivan line was specifically like the kings, like they were the heir apparent to the throne. So by the time there was a Sullivan to create the O'Sullivan clan, he would have been he would have been sitting on the throne if they still had that at the time, right? That's kind of the explanation that I understand, you know. Um, so are you a former or current MMA fighter? It's kind of complicated because like I don't want to be Mr. UFC like I used to, but I definitely am not done fighting. It's kind of a situation where I'm playing it by ear and I'm just seeing what I can get away with, you know. Um Yo, Big Sully, what you making there? Lorian video, I'm making boxty, which is an Irish food. We have to we have to we got to look into the stuff that I wanted to look into today. You know, I'm waiting for that shit to boil. So, once that's done boiling, we'll return to it. But um, let's go ahead. Um, oh man, I'm looking for something specific here from years ago. You know, years and years ago. Oh, hey, would you look at that right there? Would you look at that right there? Um, I just want to make sure. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I was looking for something. Oh, yes. Yes. I'm pretty sure this is it. If not, then it's this one. But you see, I'm looking for Irish stick fighting, right? I'm looking into Irish stick fighting. Um, we're gonna be watching some of that. Okay, we got a couple of videos we can watch. It looks like it's live stuff. So Irish stick fighting. You have a couple of different names for it. It'll be called Badaracht or Antrim or something like that. Um, it is a type of weapons-based fighting utilizing, well, sticks. The idea is that you're going to be using a shillelagh, or what some people call a blackthorn, and you're going to be, well, fighting with it. You're going to be beating people over the head with it. Now, the lore behind Irish stick fighting is a little bit different because, for one thing, there's a certain sense of it that you can kind of actually draw on history for, unlike a lot of these other forms of like martial art where, like, if you listen to their history, a lot of it is myth. I'm sure there's myth with Irish stick fighting. There's got to be, right? There's always going to be myth with anything fighting related or anything at all. There's going to be some kind of myth that is drummed up about it. But with Irish stick fighting, unlike certain other kinds of martial arts like capoeira, right? Karate, even, it wasn't it wasn't something that it wasn't something that was born out of like a need for battlefield prowess or anything like that. Really, it was born out of people being bored and wanting to fight. You know, and the mythos surrounding it is really rooted in that. You had these things called factions back in the day, and factions were basically just gangs, right? And the faction fighting that would occur usually took place at different like festivals and fairs and just other prearranged places where you'd have two different factions that meet up and they fight basically just because they want to, right? Because they want to see who's tougher. They want to provide maybe some entertainment for the crowd or something like that. And that is where a lot of Irish stick fighting was born. I'm sure there's a part of it. I'm sure there's a part of it that probably extends back to when people were fighting with like, bludgeoning or just other close range weapons. But like the Irish stick fighting that we know of, the myth of it, right? The founding myth kind of comes from those that faction fighting. This is again different from something like capoeira, where like they'll try and convince you that it was slaves who needed to try and find a way to learn how to fight without actually like physically fighting each other in a way that would alert any guards or anything like that. As if some fucking Portuguese guy in Brazil couldn't watch these two dudes who are throwing what are clearly fucking kicks at each other and determine, oh, they're practicing fighting. I should use my gun to fucking kill them. As if that wouldn't be the case, right? Um, that's one of the dumber ones. Is the idea that like capoeira came from slaves deciding they were gonna beat a drum and then pretend to dance, but really they were practicing fighting. That didn't happen. You're gonna tell me the Portuguese were that stupid? Believe me, I live around them. I live around them. They can be a certain way. They can be a certain way, right? Um, but they're not dumb. They're not dumb, right? Another one, karate. The idea that karate came from like, oh, the peasants, they needed to defend themselves from the samurai and shoguns and this, that, the other thing. No, that's not the way it happened. Karate comes from people who were actually fighting. They were actually warriors having to refine their techniques over the course of hundreds of years and then regimenting those techniques. That's where karate came from, right? Um, Scott looks so Irish. It almost is a stereotype. Oh yeah, is that so? Is that so? Derelict Country says I might have some bad news. What's that bad news? All right, let me check on that. Yep, no, not even close. But yeah, that is my understanding, right? That is my understanding of Irish stick fighting. I'm just sharing you guys what I know. I'm not saying I'm like the world's most fucking I'm not the world's most like I'm not the world's foremost expert on the topic. I'm just sharing with you guys what I've learned. Irish stick fighting, while there is a myth behind it, while there is a myth that exists that you probably are going to know is not like 1,000,000% correct, and you're going to notice when we see like demonstrations and stuff like that, there's going to be some stuff that's questionable. um it really came from faction fighting as opposed to like, oh, it was a way for the underprivileged to fight against the bourgeoisie, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at one. Oh, gotta have that. Gotta have that. Sunday, August 10th, 2014. Okay. Let's go ahead. Bomb. So this looks like it's just going to be highlights. I figured we would at least get a. I figured we would at least get a. Oh. I figured we would at least get a whole match, but I do think this is interesting because you're seeing some of the stuff that is happening. Definite improvement on camera quality. You see, like this is a little bit of the problem with Irish stick fighting and with stuff like that is there's always a guy who wants to wear a kilt. It's like, dude, I get it, I get it. You're probably proud to be Irish, just like I am, but like you ain't gotta wear leave the fucking kilt at home, dude. Come on, man, come on. This is why I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about this stuff sometimes, is because like I don't want to be taken for one of these guys. I don't want to be taken for one of these dudes, right? Oh, you see, this is one thing I want to highlight, right? Is as you can see, this is a little bit different from, say, like sword fighting because you're not typically thinking in terms of I'm trying to stab somebody, right? But then, in addition to that, it's a little bit atypical for your stick fighting as well. Like if you see a lot of eskrima and what's the other one, Arnis and things like that. You have Filipino martial arts that have stick fighting and stuff like that. It's different because these sticks are a lot longer, and because of that, you have a situation where you can go one-handed, or in this case, bang, two-handed, right? It oh, it changes things up for sure. Oh, just bopped him right across the back. Ooh, right in the hand. The Shiner faction. So, um, the Shiner faction um that sort of that sorry, like I said, I'm still kind of fucked up today, guys. I'm a little tired and shit like that. So I'm bumbling a lot of the explanations that I mean to give, and yeah, that is what it is. But it's St. Patrick's Day. I didn't want to do it on Saturday because I had things to do, and I didn't want to do it like this Wednesday or Friday or something like that because then it's like it's too late. It's too late. Today is St. Patrick's Day. Let's do it. But anyway, it's funny because they call themselves the Shiner faction in this. To my understanding, there's two major players in terms of Irish stick fighting. One of them is the Shiner faction. The other one is O'Doyle, or just Doyle. I forget if it's O'Doyle or Doyle. And I think one of them claims to be handed down straight from Ireland, and then the other one is kind of like a recreation, right? Because the thing about Irish stick fighting is that when the faction fighting occurred, there was a backlash against it from not just the government but also the Catholic Church, and eventually it ended up dying down because it got a little bit too fucked up. Eventually, people stopped fighting with sticks, and there was at least one situation where somebody got shot with a gun. So that is what it is. That is what it is. But yeah, basically, Irish stick fighting was a lost art for a long time, but it did exist. There is a historical not preference, but there's a historical understanding that it did exist, and because of that, there has been a bit of a revival, specifically outside of Ireland, because, like I said, it's kind of become a plastic patty sort of thing, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna dress like this, and I'm gonna have a scally cap as well, and I'm gonna have my kilt on, and to me, it's cool. The act itself is cool, but it does kind of suck that you have like scally cap, I'm gonna wear fucking this shit type stuff with it. I do think that's kind of unfortunate, because I do think it's interesting and cool, but you have to remember this happens when both are too drunk to stand. Ah, yes, of course, of course. Scott, if you haven't learned about this, there were Irish volunteers into the Waffen SS. I'm not surprised. There was a lot of volunteers into the Waffen SS, including American ones. Come on now. When else is he gonna get to wear it? I guess you got a good point there, but I'm still waiting on Derelict Country's bad news. What he's saying there. What's going on, Sid? I don't know if you're still here, man, but how you doing today, man? Gia Hitch to you as well. Gia Hitch. The origin of that sport must have been brutal. Oh yeah, like 100%. Because consider the fact that it wasn't really even a sport to begin with. It wasn't like a battlefield martial art necessarily, but it also wasn't like it also wasn't like, hey, like it was just a way for two groups of guys to feel like they were letting out some energy, right? But then in addition to that, one of those groups would win, and well, it looks like they're the tough guy. That's really what it was. Irish stick fighting was created by criminals, if anything, right? Because like I said, eventually this stuff, like, I don't know if it was ever considered to be just like entertainment or like, just a fun little thing that happens at the county fair and stuff like that, but eventually it was outlawed. It was something that was not allowed anymore. We had slap boxing at my school, sort of similar, of course. It's the exact same thing. Yeah, I still got a little bit until those things are cooked. Anyway, but I will say there is a little bit of it that is questionable in terms of a combat style. Like, for instance, I'm willing to bet this right here, right? I'm willing to bet this right here is probably going to be some questionable stuff. I mean, look at the guy's fucking socks. Are those Bucky's socks? Those look like Bucky's socks. I'm just curious. So he's just showing different ways to hold it. In this case, that's not bullshit. Then that's just a dude dressed in some funky pants, who's he's just showing you how to hold it, right? But I will say, every now and again, you do see some like weird shit from there. Like again, I'm curious about this, right? Huh? Irish stick fighting, a wrestling world champion. Oh, I see. Okay, all right.
Here's how it went.
Of course, I'm trying to, because like there's some moves that you see that are a little like, low percentage at best, and I'm trying to show you guys some of that, just because I want to give as accurate a representation of the art as possible, But like, really, what it is that there's people who are trying to revive the art, and because of that, they have to test things out, and sometimes they have theories that you can tell they don't really 100% test, and because of that, it can be a little you know, pussy slayer fit. That's exactly what it is. That's what this is right here. Pussy slayer fit. All right, let's see about this. Right, so Irish stick fighting summer sparring. I'm hoping there won't be like annoying copyright music. Ah, cool. All right. That's sick sparring right there, man. All right, here we go. Oh, of course, it's fucking probably copyright music, right? I gotta be careful with that. So these guys are going kind of easy on. Ooh, that was interesting. These guys are going kind of easy on each other. Um, they're more so attacking the sticks than they are attacking each other, which is understandable because you don't want to get fucking hit with a stick. And the length of these sticks is more akin to what they look to be a little bit more akin to what you would see from like a Filipino martial art and things like that, you know. I wonder if these guys are actually like legit Irish stick fighting guys, or if I mean I would assume so, right? I would assume so. Ooh, that was a nice single leg. See, when it comes to weapons, specifically weapons like that, whoever the better wrestler is actually going to win most of the time. You know, like fighting with weapons like that will a lot of the time be determined by who's the better wrestler because what's going to happen is there's going to end up being a clash much like this. You know. All right, now they're gonna do a million. I figured they were gonna do a million. Hey, good job, bud. Good job, buds. Um, let's see about this one.
Basic Irish style walking stick. Some people call it shillelagh, some people call it bata, but they're hard. They're pointed.
Hey, Scott. Did the Arnold from the show Hey Arnold upset you for wearing his kilt every day to school? No, no, because he wasn't wearing a kilt. He was wearing a long plaid shirt. If you were a real Hey Arnold fan, you would know that one. You would know that he was wearing a long shirt that just happened to be plaid, and he wore another shirt over that. Get out my face, thrill me.
Was Merlin, the knob on the end of it.
Figured he was going to show something.
Like a
like show techniques and things like that.
Like a splitting blow like this. But more commonly, we have it as a stick. And so that would be
we have it as a stick. Yes. Yes, that is a stick.
This is
we established this already. I thought we established that it is indeed a stick. But yeah, Doyle Irish stick, right? I'm just curious what this is gonna.
Forge of the Bear faction. Doyle Irish stick fighting. This stick was made for me by TJ Medlin of Medlin's Good Wood. Man, what a beauty. Look
Good
at that.
wood. Oh, man.
Hope this does it justice. There's his maker's mark. What a gorgeous stick. So this one,
I do kind of like the color scheme on that, but like that's kind of what I'm talking about is like the guys who do this a lot of the time, specifically like the guys who are like I'm part of the Shiner faction, I'm part of the Doyle faction, right? I learned Doyle Irish stick. They're very like I guess excitable about it. Excitable isn't the word that I'm thinking of. Like you hear the way he says that, right? You hear the way he says it.
Forge of the Bear faction. Doyle Irish stick fighting.
Forge of the Bear faction. Doyle Irish stick fighting. Like he says that like you're supposed to be like, whoa, like chills are supposed to be sent up your spine, you know? And like it's good. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it, right? Like Combat Shillelagh is one of them, right? We're gonna see this, right?
And I want to just do this Ooh. It's think of it as kind of like a helicopter where I'm here.
So like that's not the worst thing in the world that I've seen, but I will say that like I've seen some interesting stuff from these guys in terms of like
Just do this.
earn your black belt. Fucking there shouldn't be a black belt in Irish stick fighting. That's a Japanese thing. Sorry, just 1 second. I want to check something. No, all right. Go fuck yourself. Striking with what? All right.
Spiked or had nails in it or had something really nasty. You've got this
Enjoyable flavor of autism, I suppose. I
wherever you
suppose.
want to poke it. Right? You get the feet.
Oh, that's it. That's it. You see these guys have like these little things, right?
So when we do these blocks, I start here, but when I go to clear it, I'm going to slide down and actually catch it here to clear it. So I'm using this in the moment.
I keep trying to find examples of stuff that I don't think I'd trust, and I'm having a hard time with it. I'm literally having a hard time finding things that I don't think I would trust in terms like I've seen them before. I've been on Instagram. I've been following this guy for years. These guys, these combat shillelagh guys. I've been following them for years. There's been times where I've been like, oh, that's interesting. And then there's times where I'm like, I would never want to do that. I would never even want to try that. I would not want to practice that. That seems like a really bad idea. And I can't, even with these guys, I'm having a hard time finding the stuff where I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know if I would want to do that, you know? It's just like, man, it's funny. It's funny that I'm failing at that.
Spiked or had nails in it or had something.
So with this specifically, yes, this is kind of the stuff that I'm looking for, right? A bunch of Russian dudes cosplaying like they're Irish. It's funny to see. Oh, of course. You see, and this right here is I'm gonna show you, right? This right here is interesting. It's a little bit weird, and this is one of the ways that people hold it and attack with it. And I mean, like you see a situation where the guy ends up striking in a way that would probably do some real damage with it, but like you see. Then again, I don't know. I mean, seeing it. Ooh, that was actually pretty good. You see, the question I have about that two-handed grip up here, right? The question I have about that is, would that work against somebody who is coming at you as hard as they could with no technique, right? Because that's kind of the baseline as to whether or not something is going to be worth using is if you can counter somebody who doesn't have any kind of training but is really really into the idea of trying to fucking hurt you right now. I'm 50-50 on it. On one hand, right, we're gonna see, right, you're gonna see, you see how there's that kind of direct shot to the face that was being utilized. I guess if you intercepted somebody, if you caught somebody before they were actually able to try and swing at you, then yeah, you could make that work for sure, for sure, right? It's just a little strange to me. It's just a little strange, you know. And this is kind of the theoretical side of Irish stick fighting that we're seeing tested right now, and it actually kind of seems like it's holding up, but it seems like it's only holding up at half speed, and that's kind of why I'm like, you know. Ooh, that was nice. You see what I'm talking about? Like, there's some actual like real hard shit going down right now, you know. And you notice how there isn't a whole lot of the quick jab when dudes are swinging for the fences at each other. That's kind of what I'm talking about, right? That wasn't bad. But then again, like at the same time, right? This is some. Let's see. Ooh, ooh, that was pretty sick. Something I get upset about, right, is when somebody goes, like when you show somebody a move and they're like, well, what if I just did this? It's like, well, if you did whatever it is you think you're gonna do in that situation, I'm just gonna do something different. It's like it's like if I was showing people how to throw teeps, right? Teeps or push kicks. If I was showing someone how to throw teeps and you asked, well, what if I got like really close to you? Like, what if I got so close to you you couldn't lift your leg up? My answer to that would be then I just wouldn't fucking teep. I'd probably start punching you. If you got so close that I could not teep you, I would be in a situation where I'm just gonna punch you and you're gonna have to contend with that. If the answer to that is to then get out of range of my punches, well, then you're now back in teep range. So I'm just going to teep you, right? It's kind of that situation. So maybe what it really comes down to is it really depends on the situation. I don't want to be that guy who like excuses bad stuff. I don't want to be that guy who excuses bad technique and things that just will not work by being like, well, I mean, it all depends. It's the context. It's not about the art. It's about the artist is what it means. I don't want to be that guy at all, right? Um, However, I mean, if you and another guy were fighting with sticks, I feel like it might be a little bit better to be trying to hit him to the face in that way than taking big ass swipes at him if he was in a situation where he was playing possum. But if he was somebody who was trying his best to get in close and wallop you, well then something else might work better. Something else might work better, you know? I know I'm late to the stream, but did you talk about the history of stick fighting? I'm interested to know why the Irish developed this. Yeah, I talked a little bit about the history of stick fighting. Basically, hold on one sec. I just want to make sure oh. If they're not ready yet, they will be in a minute. I'm gonna give them another minute, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take them off. I'm gonna start mashing them up and shit like that. Then I'm gonna have to peel more potatoes, and I'm gonna have to grate them. I'm gonna have to grate the potatoes. But so, like, the modern history of Irish stick fighting really starts with faction fights, which took place. And in fact, you know what? We'll go ahead. We'll finish this video. And then we'll go to the Wikipedia. Ooh, that was nice. We'll go to the Wikipedia channel. Ooh, that was nice. That was slick. That's some pretty good. There is some pretty good shit happening here. I will say, you know. I wish we knew what the Russian was saying. Any Russians? Any Russians in here? It is good to like. It is good to see this stuff being tested, kind of in the way that you see Dog Brothers, you know, because that's an issue. What? Huh? What? What the? What the fuck is going on here? What? I want to watch that again. See, she was trying to go for some kind of foot sweep, and it just didn't work. on, man. Anyway, so what's going on, Cherry Blossom? Anyway, so yeah. 19th century faction fighting. All right. So in the 18th and 19th century the 18th and 19th century Irish phenomenon known as the faction fight was essentially a mass brawl that involved hundreds and sometimes thousands of antagonists organized into groups and meeting at designated venues and dates such as fairs, markets, funerals, race meetings, race meetings. They're fighting at the clan meeting. Patterns, parish patron days, or any other large gathering. The result was often the deaths of one or more of the participants, and always maiming and injury. Factions were almost exclusively based around clans, parishes, or geographical area. The tradition of fighting was enthusiastically instilled in the next generation so that rivalries festered and grew. The phenomenon was most prevalent in the province of Munster, and especially in County Tipperary, and always remained a rural practice. Oh, so that's literally where my ancestors came from. What the fuck? The illegal and uncontrollable nature of the mass brawls meant all kinds of weapons were used. The rural landscape provided an ample supply of stones for throwing. Women carried stones in their aprons for the men to hurl. Oh, yeah. They would also hurl the stones, too, to my understanding. Guns of all descriptions were also used when available. Loaded butts and wattles were simple sticks weighted at one end to cause maximum injury. Oh yeah, they would fill the butts of the sticks with like lead or something like that. By the 18th century, the Irish had developed their own art of stick fighting, known in the Irish language as Badaracht. Badaracht and stick fighting in general became increasingly associated with faction fights. Despite heightened religious tension at the turn of the 19th century, religion was not seen as a major factor in encouraging faction fighting. Reasons for fighting ranged from a want to display a family strength to the more sinister, agenda-driven involvement of illegal secret societies. Most of the faction quarrels had their origins in trivial beginnings, perhaps going back several generations, which has led some commentators to conclude that the fights were basically recreational. Long hostilities between the Bodishis, O'Briens, and Tubbers, Hogans, holy fuck. Irish names and words are the dumbest shit you've ever seen. Are said to have resulted from a fight over a game of marbles between two small boys, an O'Brien and a Hogan, in 1794, while two armed factions spoiling for a fight in Killeavy County, in Killeavy or Killeavy, I don't know how to pronounce that, County Down in 1835 clashed over an attempt by one faction to extinguish a bonfire started by the other. In fact, so slight were the reasons behind some of the grudges that it was not unusual for members of hostile factions to live and work together in peace and harmony all year round, except for the days when the factions mustered to fight. You see, this is the thing you need to understand about the Irish. The only thing they like fighting more than invaders, more than foreigners, is themselves. You know? So yeah, there's that. I was curious about that. So we're gonna go ahead. It's about time we take these bad mamma jammas out. Actually, you know what I gotta do? Oh boy. This is my dinner tonight, so I'm kind of like, hurry the fuck up. Hurry the fuck up, dude. I'm tired of waiting. Last time I made this on stream was a 24-hour stream, and I burned my hand trying to pour the water out. So that's why I'm like, no, I'm scooping them out with these. That way I can just pour the water out straight up. it's a little bit janky trying to cook in my it's a little bit janky trying to cook in my room here. Doesn't really work out the way that you would want it to usually. All right, we just about got all of them. Couple more scoops. Come on, come on. I'm getting like one at a time now, and it's fucking bothering me. Ah, fuck! I just burned myself again. That's all right though. Wasn't nearly as bad. Okay, I'm all good. I'm gonna go pour this. I'm gonna go pour this water out because I'm gonna mash the potatoes in this thing. I'll be right back. Okay. I just remembered I gotta get milk and butter. Milk. Luckily I have some. I forgot to pick some up earlier. And where's the butter? Milk. Those look good. Fucking about to look even better. This is unsalted butter, so I have salt here. Butter's nice though. Like I like the creamy texture of butter. It's like this is good. Yeah. So let's throw that bullshit back in there. There we go. Cut some of that butter. There we go. I'll throw salt in there when it's more, I'll throw salt in there when it's more mashed. A little bit of milk too. Where's the face paint, Scott? What face paint? All right. What I'm going to do so that I'm not like back to the fucking camera this entire time. I'm going to go ahead. Sorry about that. Didn't make as much mashed potato as I would have liked, but that's okay. I only want like 3 or 4 of them anyway. Thought you would be dripped out in your green, white, and orange. Nah. I mean, it's not that I'm like averse to wearing fucking green on St. Patrick's Day, but like it's kind of the same thing as the dude who wears the kilt. It's like I don't want to be one of those people, you know. It's like when somebody who never mentions anything ever about like heritage, or like, you know, they don't know anything about Ireland or Irish history, or like which ancestors came over and when, you know. When they're like, "Where, dude, you're not wearing fucking green, dude, it's fucking St. Patrick's Day." It's like that shit's annoying. I don't want to be that guy, you know. The last thing I want to do is be that guy. That's for sure, you know. All right, we're almost good. We're almost good. Time to throw in that salt. Whatever. You know, it was unsalted butter, so. What are you doing? My dog's underneath my table. He's being a bitch. Scott doesn't want girls to pinch him. Yeah. If I want, the only girls I want to pinch me don't speak English. Fucking. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to melt the rest of this butter here. Sorry, I'm like getting quiet and shit like that. I'm just, you know. I think we're good there. Just mad of it on this fucking thing. It's all right though. Oh yeah. So the next thing I'm gonna need is I'm gonna have to peel 1 or 2 of these. That way I can grate them. I'm gonna have to grate them next. See, I wanted to have all these peeled and like I wanted to do everything that I needed to do with them prior to, but I couldn't because I just didn't give myself the time. You know, I apologize for that. You know. Come on, there we go. So like there's this chick, right? I used to when I say I used to date her, I went on like 2 dates, right? Not maybe not even 2 dates. You know, we were both still basically kids. She was like yeah, I think she was like I think she was like a fuck. Whatever she was some kind of Latina, right? But extremely, extremely, extremely beautiful girl, right? Oh, really? The audio's cutting out? That's annoying. Hmm. Wonder why that's happening all of a sudden. That usually doesn't happen. I'll tell you the story in a second. I just want to I just, you know. All right. Huh. Testing, testing, testing. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. I want to see if it's got anything to do with me. Yeah, I mean it's showing everything's all good here, but I don't know if it's good for you guys. I'll give it a minute. If I have to start the stream over, I will, you know. Oh. Hmm. I think that's probably okay. You guys hearing me fine now? I'm good now. Okay. Yeah, like I wanted to get a lot of this prep work done prior to, and I apologize for that. You know, we're just it's a chill stream anyway. We're just talking about Irish shit, you know. But I was just I just checked Snap. Well, I didn't just check Snapchat, but I checked Snapchat earlier, right? And there's this chick that I know, and she is absolutely fucking gorgeous. Like you would if I showed you a picture of her, you would be like, how the fuck did cartoons become real? Like, I shit you not. The smallest waist, the biggest ass, the biggest titties, all natural, completely and totally natural. This like Latina chick, but I think she's like black, Irish, and Latina. I think is what she is, like some kind of Puerto Rican or something like that. She's got like mixed girl proportions, if that makes sense, because that happens sometimes. It's like Brittany Venti, you know. She's got like Brittany Venti proportions to a degree, in a certain sense. Just absolutely gorgeous, very pretty face, and like I check her fucking shit, and I'm like, I'm seeing not pictures, but like videos of her like in bed without a shirt on, and I don't mean like titties out. I mean like covering the tits. Um, and then like the next one is her sitting on top of a sink, you know, trying to show ass. And then there was another one that was a little bit more tasteful, you know. It was just her. She was like dressed up, you know, and good for her, right? But like, this is somebody who I dated a couple of times. We went on a couple of dates years ago, but it just didn't work out between us. But we're still friends. And I was like, "Who you trying to thirst trap?" And she literally just told me like, nobody. Actually, I was trying to do the opposite. I was trying to see who I should block, and then I was also trying to prove a point to somebody. And it's like, holy fucking shit, dude. Holy fucking shit, dude. Are you kidding me, man? Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You know what you were trying to do. You know what you were trying to do. You know, shit's crazy. Fucking really, really nice girl. Absolutely fucking gorgeous on like a level that is like insane. You know, like insanely gorgeous. Um, it didn't work out between us because we just like two completely different people. You know, I was actually kind of the one who broke her heart. It was not good. It was not good, you know. But I'm not gonna sit here and like tell the story like that. Um, it's just funny to see like that kind of bullshit. It's like, we're in our 20s. I'm in my 30s now. You're still in your 20s. What are you doing here? What are you doing? You know, big bobs and vagine. Yeah, that's why I believe black guys got Irish heritage. Irish, they love color. They love the colored folks. Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, are you still sliding into e-girl DMs? Fucking yeah, all the time, constantly, every second of the day. That's one of the things that truth be told, like, for one thing, I'm a flirt. I like to flirt. That's what I do, you know. I don't mean anything by it. It's not like I'm like flirting because I'm like, yes, I'm gonna flirt and then I'm gonna get in their pants. That's not what it is, you know. I just, it's exciting. It's fun, you know. I don't have to justify me doing things that I enjoy doing, right? I'm not doing it because I'm trying to like actually legit have anything happen, right? But like I also do it because I know it pisses people off, like with Kaylee, right? The last time I streamed with Kaylee was however many months ago. It was that Jeopardy stream, I'm pretty sure, that I did with Shoe Nice, her, and Goon. And I kept calling her pretty. I kept calling her beautiful and things like that. And I was doing that because I know that there was somebody in some dark corner of like the fish tank fandom who was like, he's fucking, he cheats on his wife. She's a serial adulterer is what he is. Because they're mad that like I got Kaylee to smile. You know? They're that angry that the fat balding ginger is able to like not be horrible with women, you know. It's just so funny. Those DMs that you shared on stream were great. Which ones? The ones that I sent to oh yeah, that ex of mine, dude, fucking that ex. If you are not aware of this, right, we still got to talk about Thomas Maher as well, but you know, we're taking a box tea break here. She messaged me again. If you didn't know, right? If you didn't know, there was an ex-girlfriend of mine that I also keep in touch with. This is a girl that I dated in high school, so you know, it should tell you everything. It wasn't anything too crazy and shit like that, right? She absolutely positively reamed me out because she's like some sort of a she's some sort of like a fucking like shit-lib leftist and things like that. And like it was just like I'll share some of the stuff, right? I'll share some of the stuff that I said, right? Sorry, one sec. Oh yeah. So I'll share the start. I'll share the start of it, right? Um she says, "Hey, so can I ask what is your opinion on the current state of affairs? I'm scientifically curious." That is she literally said I'm scientifically. She capitalized the word scientifically. Oh my science. Oh my science. Why are you a Trump supporter? Oh my DeGrasse, Fauci, Hawking, Tyson. Why are you a Trump supporter? I was like, she was like, oh yeah, I said, what do you mean? And she was like, the approach of the Trump administration. I was like, to what? And then I was like, I just live my life. Hope the economy gets better. Biden was quite literally the worst president in our lifetime in many regards, while Trump was probably one of the best. And she said, you can't actually believe this, can you? And she was like, well, congrats. And I was like, well, it's a fact, you know, best economy since Clinton was under Trump, ended Afghanistan, etc., etc. Biden took over and everything went to shit. 3 years into his presidency, he's blaming Trump for stuff still. But hey, you asked. And then she said, you're a fucking idiot. You don't understand anything. I'd hoped you were smarter, but I'm deeply disappointed. And I then said, I'm not trying to impress anyone. It just deteriorated from there to a point where like, hold on. Oh yeah, she said, you're adorable for thinking there will be a new president in 4 years. Because she literally thought that Trump was like trying to become a dictator or like a king or something like that, right? And I was like, in 4 years, when there's a new president, you can apologize. And she did a laughing react, and she said, "You were adorable for thinking there will be a new president in 4 years. Trump has been very clear in his plan." And as a bit of a cheeky joke, I was like, "Glad to hear you still think I'm cute." And then she said, "Nah, not what I meant. Even in hindsight, I thought you looked like a serial killer. You've got those dead ass eyes, like staring into the pit of despair." And it just went from there. It just went from there. You know, she just kept like trying to shit on me, and I was just pretty much unaffected by it. So I just like, I leave it all alone. You know, I unfriend her. You know, I deleted like messages. I unsent certain messages that were, you know, I didn't want her to have. Like, I sent her a picture of me and my wife. I don't want somebody like that to have a picture of me and my wife. There's a reason why I don't let her on camera. She doesn't even want to be on camera, right? And then out of nowhere, a little bit earlier this month, she goes, "Hey, look, I think I owe you an apology. I do stand by the meat of much of what I said. Trump is awful. I don't know how anyone can be okay with what he's doing, and I promise you I would feel that way even if he weren't trying to dehumanize my wife." She married a man who came out as trans, so, you know, she's married to a trans woman. But I didn't have a right to be as much of a mean, petty bitch as I acted, especially when I was the one who started the conversation. To be totally frank, I'd had an absolute motherfucker of a bad day the day before, easily bottom 20, and I was pretty drunk when I messaged you. Not that that's an excuse. I shouldn't have ever talked to someone like that, regardless of how much I disagree, and I'm very ashamed of how I acted. So, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. And you see, this is why I asked her out back in high school, is because she's fucking retarded. She's fucking dumb like that. That's why I asked her out back in high school, is because I knew she would say yes, because I was an idiot back then myself, and I didn't know how to make a girl like me. And I was like, well, if I go out with a girl that I know is going to say yes, even though I'm not really that attracted to her, you know? And that's why our relationship was like shitty. We had a shitty relationship. That wasn't good. It only lasted like a month and a half, 2 months anyway, right? But like the way she says that, "Hey, look, I think I owe you an apology. I do stand by the meat of much of what I said." It's like, that's such an autistic thing to say. That's like an autistic, I can't just say sorry. I have to also let you know that, like, I still stand by my belief in Trump being an evil Nazi, right? It's like, dude, be a fucking regular person. Be a regular fucking person. Just like, chill the fuck out, you know? Even the apology has to be a political diatribe about like how Trump is bad, and you're standing on principle here. You're standing on principle is what you're doing. It's like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. You fucking moron. You know, every few years you and I, we reconnect, we talk, and then you have to fucking bitch about something. You have to complain about something that happened 15 years ago. And you have to act like you're totally not bothered by it, but also you want to say something. This is why I don't talk to you. This is why I don't fucking talk to you. Every once in a great while, I'm like, hey, whatever, you know, she's a cool chick when she's not being bitchy like that. Cool, whatever. And it's like, I was just like, nah, fuck that. I unfriended her. I unsent a bunch of shit that I had sent where we were catching up with each other. And I was like, dude, whatever. Because this is the first time that she had actually been like flipping the fuck out at me like that. Other times it was just like, hey, so I have a question, you know, like she wants to bring it up, you know, and it's like, holy fucking shit, dude. What's that Irish broad you had beef with? You stream, Scott? Oh, that was just a minx. That was just a minx. That's my Irish wife. Honestly though, do you guys think Just Minx is cute? Because in certain lighting, I'm not gonna lie, I do think she's all right looking. Maybe it's an epigenetic thing. Maybe I'm just attracted to women who, you know, look like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm attracted to alcoholism is what it is. Maybe I'm epigenetically attracted to like drunk messes. I don't know. You know? What's Justin Minx up to? I don't know. I don't know, bro. You know? Oh god, bro, you're drunk. Nah, but like for me it's the eyes. It's the eyes for me. I do think Justin Minx has really nice eyes, and eyes are a big thing to me. eyes are a really, really big thing to me. I'm not gonna lie. If a girl has really nice eyes, I'm like, oh fuck, man. Oh damn. You know? Oh fuck. You see coked up McGregor at the White House. Hope that motherfucker becomes king of Ireland. Hell yeah, hi King McGregor. Dude, I'd move back. I'd move back. All right, I gotta get on this Boxty. Um, Sorry about that. I'm following an actual recipe this time, right? I'm following an actual recipe. It told me I needed to get fucking buttermilk, but it's like, where does the buttermilk come into play here? All right. Okay, then add the buttermilk. All right. So I need 1 cup of buttermilk, and then I need an egg as well as flour, baking soda, etc., etc. I need 1 cup buttermilk, 1 cup flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda. See, because I'm making an actual batter here. It's not just like what I did last time, you know. She has the weird dye hair, which I'm not a fan of. She might be a redhead. I shit you not. She might be a ginger because she posted a picture of herself when she was a child once, and she had red hair, and like my red hair, a little bit lighter, right? Because there's a lot of quote unquote gingers out there. They're really just brunettes that like get light in the summer, you know. She might be a natural redhead. I could be wrong, you know. Stop cooming, stop cooming. Start praying. Yep. Oh yeah, that's what I need. I gave up something for Lent. I'll say that, you know. All right, come on, baby. Oh, damn it. Oh, fuck, I got flour all over myself. Fuck. I want to talk about Thomas fucking Maher because he's an interesting figure in both Irish and American history. Um Oh fuck, man. Damn it, bro. Damn it, damn it. I'm I'm fucking up in the game right now. I'm fucking up in the game right now. Okay, I got one. My wife's gonna love it when she gets home. My wife's gonna love it when she gets home. Okay, so 1 teaspoon baking soda. 1 teaspoon. That's a fourth. That's a half. This is 1 teaspoon. All right, so I need a teaspoon of baking soda. Would not be surprised if she's homeless right now. Don't know if she knows how to do anything but be a lol cow. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, there's something about Minx I really felt bad about knowing her story and shit like that. You know, I don't like seeing people who have those kinds of issues, you know? It makes me sad inside, especially because I feel like she could probably be an alright chick. Um, from what I dealt with her, she didn't seem to be the worst person I've ever known, although I was sort of like caught off guard by the way that she tried to ambush me on her stream. I think she thought she was gonna totally like own the fish tank guy. One of the totally far right fish tank Sam Hyde guys. I think she thought she was gonna like totally like have me on and then like make a fool of me. And I mean, I was definitely caught off guard by some of the shit she said, but like kind of didn't work out like exactly the way that she wanted it to. You know, it just kind of was a situation where like she invited me on and I was just like chilling, trying to have a conversation, you know. Scott gave up gooning for Lent. His wife must live in hell. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, no, I think yeah, birth defect, puppy energy in a hot girl body makes for interesting people. Are you talking about Just a Minx, sir? But yeah, what was I gonna say? Sorry. Again, following this thing. Baking soda. All right. Yep. Yes, I will go ahead and use this. But yeah, I think she moved like because I follow we follow each other on we follow each other on whatever it is. We follow each other on Twitter, you know, and jeez, we follow each other on Twitter, and every now and again I would see stuff from her. I'm actually pretty sure she was back in Ireland, and she might have bought a house. She might have even bought a house. I could be wrong about that one, but you know. Thomas Maher's father was born in Newfoundland, a British Empire country that joined Canada in 1949. Oh, that is pretty interesting. All right. Thomas Maher is a big name in my state. Oh yeah. What was that damn, I forget which one. I forget which one it is. He became the governor of one of the territories out west after the Civil War. I forget which one it was though. Is the issue. I forget which one it was. He actually died. He fucking died. He fell overboard on a boat and they just never found his body. He just sort of like disappeared off the boat. Okay. Okay. Secretary of the territory, like pre-governor or something. I don't know what the official name for it was. I don't know what
Great
the official
stream.
name was.
Thanks for the laughs.
All right. I met a lot of Irish girls IRL. They're all like minx, cute in a weird way, but the alcohol ruins them. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of what it is. Minx is cute in a weird way, where it's like you look at her and you're like, oh man, you know, like I shouldn't be attracted to this girl, but maybe it's the attitude. You know, she's got kind of a playful attitude, which like it's not very womanly, right? It's not very womanly, but it can still be fun sometimes. One thing I don't like though is when people are constantly trying to like rag. That is one thing. Like that's how I know I couldn't date just a minx if I was a single man. If I was a single man, and I do think she was attracted to me. By the way, I do think she was actually fucking attracted to me. Um, I think that was pretty obvious given the way that she was on the fucking stream. But anyway, um, regardless, like but then again, I think Justin Mix is always like trying to fucking flirt with everybody. You know, not like me. I don't do that. I'd never do that. But regardless, fucking fuck. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I that's how I know she and I would not get along like long term, is because she probably doesn't have an off switch to the whole fucking with people thing. And don't get me wrong, I love bullying my wife, and I like it when my wife gives it back to me a little bit here and there. But like, if we never were able to just chill, if there was always that like that veil of irony almost over us, I'd be like, get the fuck away from me. I'd be like, dude, I stay away, get out of here, get away from me, man. That's what I'd be like. That's what happened with that girl that I was describing to you guys. The one that I was talking about, the chick that's like mixed and shit like that, is so beautiful that when I see her nowadays, I like it. It fucks me up in a certain sense, because I'm like, oh, that's a girl that I dated. Fucking like, she is extremely beautiful. What the fuck happened? Oh yeah, her personality was nails on a chalkboard to me. Oh, so like, as physically attractive as she is, as much as like my lizard brain is like, holy shit, you need to talk to that girl. There, like, when I think about it for a half a second, which I'm not saying I'm like thinking like I should hit her up, I should hit her up. That's not what I do, right? It's just understanding how I work as a man, right? When I see a girl like her, I'm like, oh, attractive. I am attracted to her. There's that piece that's like, oh, but I would be able to be around her for 5 minutes before I want to like start screaming, you know? You still see the Latina woman? What do you mean, see the Latina woman? There's nobody here but me, sir. There's nobody here but me. Justa Mix is too alcoholic to be political. Well, I mean, she's fake political. She's because she was a part of the Twitch elite, if you will. She was like palling around with like Hassan Piker at one point. I'm pretty sure. Actually, funny thing. And you know, she got kicked out of that little club because of her alcohol issues. You know, it's funny how these people want to talk all about addiction's a disease, and you need to help people and blah blah blah. But they also were like, no, get away from me, when she clearly had issues, and they also fed those issues. You know, when I thought she was going to be on Fish Tank, I deep dived into her to like figure out what her deal was, and like those people that pushed her away, they also were feeding her alcohol and shit like that too. Like, you could see it on streams. So like, she was gonna do and say whatever she felt like she needed to in order to like fit in with those people. But anyway, you see this shit? No, you can't. Oh yeah, you see this shit? Fucking A. Don't worry, I'm still here. So we're gonna try this out. About time.
Oh, goddamn time.
Butter's mad good, man. Your clothes are ruined. Pretty much. Yeah, classic libtard hypocrisy displayed by Twitch community. Well, yeah, of course, you know. It's Twitch. You're gonna be whatever you need to be to survive when you're making money off of something. Look at it. Look at the tooth marks. Look at the fucking tooth marks, man. That's crazy. Yeah. One moment. I gotta grease the pan here. I think that's good. Oh, fuck. I need the, oh, damn. I forgot a spatula. Hold on. What are you doing, huh? What are you doing? He was standing by the door, and when I rounded the corner, he ran in. You know? My dog's smart. He knows when he's not supposed to be doing something. I rinsed this thing off, so I'm trying to, like, trying to fucking. Actually, it's unsalted butter. Hi, Ecuador. It's unsalted butter. Scott on that RFK diet. How far are we behind? How far are we behind? Because you guys are only just reacting to that, and that I did that like 5 minutes ago. All right. You know what? Using this thing, I guess. See, that's the thing about cooking in here is that I end up in a situation where like I don't have enough of what I need. I don't have the shit I need, you know? Heard more fast food joints are jumping on the beef tallow train. Don't know about the veracity of the claim. Hey man, I hope so. I sure hope so. That'd be nice. Scott's internet service is based in Brazil, just like his wife. That's exactly what it is. That was like a minute or two. Maybe it was. Oh yeah, I need a fucking plate too. Again, I don't have everything I need. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, got some Mountain Dew. With Trump in office, it's only a matter of time until his wife is deported back to Brazil. Scott won't notice for at least a week. Fucking, if that. So, this is what we got right now. I know it's kind of hard to see. Scott needs to put sugar on his stick of butter to maximize gains. That's exactly what I need, the Jester mask. I need sugar. You gotta get some fat too. I need to get some saturated fat. Yeah, more saturated fat, excuse me. All right. It looks straight up like a fucking pancake. This looks like a pancake. I mean, I'm not upset about that, you know. I'm just curious about how this is supposed to come out. You know? It literally looks like I have a pancake. That's crazy. Cram protein, fat, and carbs all at once, exactly. Yeah, it's like a fucking pancake, dude. I definitely made it wrong because the box tea that I've seen do not typically look like that stuff. You literally live off fucking pancakes and raw butter. It's a good diet. I'm happy as a clam on it. Do you like other potato pancakes? I've never had a latke that I really love the hell out of, but I don't think I've ever had a good latke is probably the problem, you know? Scott, how do you talk so good? Practice. Practice. You want to stutter like I do, you got to practice. Yeah, like look at that. Like, you cannot tell me this is not just a regular pancake. I could put syrup on this. Oh. You know what it is? I forgot to put an egg in there. I forgot to put something in there. Hello, baby. I'm streaming right now. You want to try? Did you want to try box tea with a real recipe this time?
Yeah.
She's like, I saw the last time. I don't know. Yeah. I did fuck it up a little bit though. I was supposed to throw an egg in there and I completely forgot. So now I'm beating an egg into this.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't trust my cooking? Is that it?
I do. Just my stomach.
No, I understand. Baby, like, look at this one though, right?
Oh.
If I told you I was made out of potato, would you believe me, or would you just think this is a pancake?
It looks like a pancake.
This is a fucking pancake.
Yeah, it looks good, honestly. Now I'm like, maybe I want to try.
It's a pancake till you bite into it. Hold on. This is without cheese. I just threw some salt on it. Damn. That is actually really fucking good. It tastes like a salty pancake in the best way possible. Tastes like a salty pancake in the best way possible.
Can I try?
Oh. Now you want to try, huh?
It looks good.
Good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chef Scott. Scott's wife, desperate to not be deported, will say whatever shit Scott cooks on his hobo stove looks good. Horrifying. Save her. Do you put sauce on it? I'm not putting sauce on it. I'm going to throw cheese in, though. I'm throwing cheese in. Speaking of which, baby, is there cheese on... Did I leave the cheese on the bed?
Yeah.
Oh. That's really good, though. Like, I'm surprised how good that is.
Very good.
Cheddar cheese going in. Gonna have to mix it up, then I'm gonna throw it on. I still want to talk about Thomas Maher, you know. I still do want to do that. I'm just kind of trying to, you know, I haven't eaten dinner. This is literally my dinner, you know. I was like, oh fuck it, you know, it's St. Patrick's Day. I'll be festive and have some Irish food. What's going on, actual Bart? Pot of gold, yes. My dog is like leaning up against me right now. He's like, hey, can I have some? All right, I just gotta mix this up a little bit more. There's no way cheese is not gonna make this like amazing. I wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't believe you if you told me. All right. This is gonna be such a ridiculous mess to clean up. That's all right though. So let's go ahead and look up. There it is. So this Montana, territorial governor of Montana is what he was. But this is Thomas Francis Maher, okay? He was a figure in both Irish and American history, and he played a pivotal role in a couple of different things. For one thing, he was known for, you know, what you can see here, the Young Irelanders movement, and he partially led the rebellion in 1848. Now, I don't know exactly too much about the Young Irelanders or the rebellion of 1848. I know that my family was still in the country in 1848, I would assume anyway, because my great-great-grandfather, who was in the American Civil War, was in, he was born in Ireland, right? And I'm pretty sure he and at least one family member came over. I think it was his mom, and who knows, maybe the entire family came over, you know, potentially. I have proof that his mom was there at the end of her life, though. So I think it wasn't just they sent him over on a boat. I think perhaps the whole family may have come over. And I don't want to try and be like, and you know what? I think maybe my ancestors were involved in the rebellion of 1848. I don't know that. You know, there's a good chance that they weren't. My great-great-great-grandfather, the father of my great-great-grandfather, his name was Jonathan, and that's all we know about him. It was just John. You know, that's it. Excuse me. We don't know like anything about his life, when he was born, where he was born in Ireland. You know, we would assume probably around where my great-great-grandfather was born. But enough about me. What about Mr. Maher? So he was tried and sentenced to death for his role in the Young Irelander Rebellion, but he ended up having his sentence commuted to exile. So that's how he ended up in, as you can see here, Australia, right? Or Van Diemen's Land, right? That was the penal colony that the British set up in Australia to send a bunch of people, including a lot of Irish. That's why there's a lot of Irish in Australia, is because a lot of them would get sent to Australia when they would commit crimes and things like that. Funny enough, the penal colony was kind of just like a colony in some cases. You had people who they couldn't be trusted to have any semblance of freedom, so they had to work in, you know, labor camps basically. But then you also had people who they were trusted with a certain semblance of freedom, and that was someone like Thomas Francis Maher, who he was allowed to not only have a house, but he was allowed to like get married. He had a kid and things like that. I believe the child died in Australia, although I know the child died. I forget where they died specifically, where he died. It was a It was a boy. It was a boy child. Oh yes, that is a big one. But so he actually abandoned though his wife and his child. I forget if they were born or unborn in Australia. So that sucks. But he had to escape Australia. It's not like he got sent to Australia and then that just was what it was. Technically speaking, in fact, officially he was a prisoner. It's just that I mean Australia is a continent on the other side of the world. Like what's going to happen, you know? He ended up escaping though from Australia and he went to America and he was tried in America. They almost sent him back, but then they decided not to. I forget exactly why. It was something to do with the court system. I think the court system basically were just like, yeah, you're cool. We don't care. It's all good, bro. It's all good, you know? Yeah, you know, you're technically on the run. You're technically a fugitive, but it's cool. You can stay here, bro. So, when the American Civil War broke out, he decided he would join up with the Union Army. And the Union Army, it had a lot of different groups of people, a lot of different ethnicities and things like that. But the Union and the Confederacy, just the American Civil War in general, there were a bunch of different regiments and brigades on both sides, you know. There was the Missouri Irish. There was the Georgia Irish. There was a Virginia one as well, I believe. Then there was the New York, the Massachusetts, the Pennsylvania, right? A bunch of different regiments ended up being predominantly made up of Irish people because that's just the way that they ended up recruiting. Oh, excuse me. And Thomas Maher would become the brigadier general of what would be known as the Irish Brigade. And we'll go ahead, we'll scroll down just a little bit, right? Nickname, Maher of the Sword. And then O'Maher, temporarily self-given. That's funny that giving yourself a nickname, that's foolish. That's dumb as hell. But as you can see, he was the commander of Company K of the 69th New York Militia, which the 69th New York Militia would end up becoming, I would assume anyway, yes, the 69th New York Regiment, or the Fighting 69th. He would end up becoming the leader of the brigade, not just the regiment, but the brigade, which included regiments like the 28th Massachusetts and the 88th New York, was it? I believe. Let's figure it out. Yes. 63rd New York, 69th, 88th New York. I got it right. 29th Massachusetts, 28th Massachusetts, and the 116th Pennsylvania. Again, almost all of them were, well, pretty much all of them were of majority Irish heritage, right? So it's interesting to see that kind of thing. There's little things about Thomas Maher that make him interesting to me, especially though, because he had a very big, he had almost, and if not, actually no, I think he probably had a bigger effect on America than he did Ireland, but he still had a gigantic effect on Ireland, to the point where the flag, the Irish flag that we see nowadays, was actually, I don't know if it was invented by him, but he's the one who brought it back to Ireland after he spent time in France, because he went to France and he admired their revolution, and people who were sympathetic to him and his Irish cause, they made a tricolor in the shape or in the form of a French tricolor, but they used orange, white, and green instead of, I think the French tricolor is red, white, and blue or something like that. It might be blue, white, and red, but you get the idea, right? Now, after he ended up in the Civil War, all right, he was the, as I said, territorial governor of Montana. This is before Montana was actually a part of the Union, and he would end up dying basically people assume that he fell off a boat, right? And I just happened to notice this, right? Following the Civil War, Maher was appointed Montana's territorial Secretary of State by President Andrew Johnson and served as acting territorial governor in 1867. Maher drowned in the Missouri River after falling, from a steamboat at Fort Benton, Montana. Historians have questioned the circumstances around his death with varying hypotheses, including weakness from dysentery, intoxication, suicide, and murder. A 2016 analysis by Timothy Egan in The Immortal Irishman, suggested Maher may have been murdered by Montana political opponents. I'll flip it one more time just in case. That'd be pretty crazy. That'd be pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, as far as someone like Thomas Francis Maher, he is an inspiration to someone like me because I've always greatly prioritized experience. I've always enjoyed, experiencing new things, doing new things, you know? And because of that, I've always kind of tried my best to be in the right place at the right time so that I could take part in this thing or that thing. Or I've always savored new experiences, like being on the bargaining committee for my union, right? That's something that most people can't say they've done is negotiated a contract, specifically a first contract for a union. That's something that I've done, right? Most people can't say they've done stuff like that. I've done tons of different stuff that I don't talk about all the time with you guys because it's stuff that I'd really rather not, I'd rather not throw out there. You guys don't need to know every little piece of who I am and what I've done with my life, right? For someone like him to exist, it's for someone like him to have existed, that's really interesting to me, and I enjoy learning about people like that because it gives me someone to shoot for, if that makes sense. Not that I'm ever going to be the equal to someone like Thomas Maher, but it inspires me knowing what he was able to accomplish, you know, being so prolific in so many different places in one lifetime. That's fucking wild, you know. Here we are. We got round two. I keep forgetting to put more salt on it. Silly me. It's got cheese on it though, so you know. I'm gonna be done in a second, baby. Were you going to bed now?
It's okay, don't worry.
Are you sure? Because you know, you working is more important than this.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
All right. Very hot, but still delicious. I live by Fort Benton. Talk about the fucking boonies. There's one farm there, and that's it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the people that live in the U.S. are they're on the coasts. You know, they're on the coastal regions. Is what they're in. You know. He was an alcoholic, much like myself. Ah, yes. But yeah, the Irish played an outsized role in American history, right? And they don't want you to know just how deep the roots are. They don't want you to know just how prolific the Irish were in this country. And it's not just because of the Irish, it's because if we acknowledge the roots of the Irish, well, then we also have to acknowledge the roots of the British, you know, the English, the Scottish, the Germanic peoples that came here, the Nordic peoples that came here, right? We have to acknowledge the roots of those people and how they affected this country. And how, white people do season they chicken, actually, because fucking, when these people came here, they introduced this kind of cooking, and it took off, and now it's everywhere in America, and blah blah blah, right? They don't want you knowing things like this. They don't want you knowing that you have a personal or ethnic or whatever connection to something like the Civil War. They purposefully don't teach you these things. They'll teach you all about Black history, which, hey, whatever. You want to do that? Fine. But this is why people, or I don't actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think that's why people say, "Oh, why isn't there an Irish History Month?" Right? There is now. It's this month. But like there should be an Irish History Month specifically because of how crazy the influence is, you know? And it's guys like Thomas Maher who they get buried, you know? This guy who, like, worldwide his whatever, his influence, right? His worldwide, his influence was felt, you know. But they don't want to teach you about this guy. Instead, they want to teach you that George Washington Carver invented peanut butter, which is not even true. You know, they literally assigned him a bunch of peanut based inventions to give you somebody to learn about, even though he didn't do that shit. You know. Hmm. Uh, bro, real talk. Irish Catholics are prolific because they used to breed like roaches. Fucking yeah, it's called Catholic birth control, meaning none. Damn, that's really good. I'm gonna have to make this again at some point. But like, it's just important that you learn about your heritage. You know, whether you're Irish or not. I'm not just Irish. I'm Italian. I'm a few different things. You know, I'm very much a mutt. I know it's obvious my Irish heritage, right? But outside of that, I am a lot of different things, and you know, I'm proud of all of them. But Irish heritage has been not just commercialized, but it's also been repressed. It's been not repressed, but suppressed. It's been suppressed by not just the British, but the world. You know, you're only allowed to be Irish if you are wearing green on St. Patrick's Day and you talk in a funny accent. You do a jig. You know. Other than that, nobody wants to hear it. And that's why it's important. Well, I think I'm gonna head out. All right. Thank you guys very much. I had a good day today. I was a little all over the place because my work schedule is fucked up, and because of that, when I get home, my brain is fucking mush. So I apologize if, especially in the beginning of this, it took me a minute to get warmed up. It took me a minute to get warmed up, but I had a good St. Patrick's Day. You know, it's not like it's that much different from every other day. It's just kind of a day for me to reflect on what it means, on what it means to be a Kang. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys had a good day too. I gotta hit that dusty trail though. All right, my wife's gonna yell at me. She's gonna yell at me. She's gonna be like, "I don't care that you're a fucking baddie. I need to go to bed." She's ignoring me. Anyway, thank you guys though. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna head out. Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right. Peace out.